You are making your way down the side of the road when an oncoming truck swerves in your direction. You try to get out of the way, but as you move, the truck turns to meet you. There's no time left. You're going to die, or so you think, but just before the moment of impact, you feel yourself being pulled away from the scene.
Welcome to my humble abode. Isekai? It seems like you have the wrong idea. I didn't bring you here. You came here all by yourself. Such a feat would be impossible for a normal human, but you are clearly no ordinary human. Yes, there's no doubt about it. You must be a Planeswalker, a divine entity with the power to travel infinite worlds. You are lucky to have arrived at this place. Newly awakened Planeswalkers often find themselves in an unfamiliar world without any knowledge of what they are or what they are capable of. But I can teach you the basics and perhaps even send you back to your home world. Unfortunately, you are not an all-human anymore, and that may be a bit of a problem if you want to return to your old life. If not concealed, Planeswalkers give off a unique energy signature that can be tracked by various enemies. Demons and elite thieves are common threats in magic worlds, but even non-magical worlds may have their dangers. I will touch on that topic more in the future, but for now, I should explain your current state. You may not have noticed, but your body has already changed into your preferred human form and age. You are biologically immortal. Your strength, speed, and endurance are peak human for your apparent age and body type. Your natural regeneration allows you to regrow internal organs and lost limbs in just a day. Smaller wounds heal in minutes to hours. Lost blood is rapidly replenished. All Planeswalkers share in a few key abilities, such as the ability to jump between habitable worlds. You have already discovered that one. It's how you arrived here, after all. When you jump to a new world, you can choose to take with you any people or items that are within 2 meters of yourself. You can choose to randomly jump to a new world, or you can choose to visit a specific world that you have jumped to before. If you choose to visit a specific world, there is a small chance, 5%, that your jump will fail, and you will instead be taken to a random world. You should have other more unique abilities as well. Pardon my intrusion.
Your body freezes as a strange sensation spreads through your awareness. It is the unique feeling of another conscious entity browsing through your mind. Before you can protest, the strange feeling subsides, and you are able to move once again.
I apologize for stepping into your mind, but I assure you it was necessary. You see, when a Planeswalker dies, they are left with 3 options. They can hover around as a disembodied spirit for a few years, until they acquire enough energy to generate a new body for themselves. They can reincarnate, or they can choose to move on to the next plane of existence. It appears you've chosen the path of reincarnation in your last life. Your powers can never be lost, stolen, or sealed. As a divine entity, you are immune to such things. So whatever powers you had in your previous life should still be with you, just waiting to be rediscovered by you. This is important because you knew how to use your powers in your previous life. So if I were to restore your memories of that life, you should be able to use them again. Worry not. I will not restore anything that would infringe on who you currently are. I will only bring back the tiniest fraction of your memories to the surface. Specifically, memories that involve the usage of your powers, divine blessings, and your Pact companion. Oh, and Don't worry about your past life coming back to haunt you. The issue that drove you to reincarnate has been resolved.
Planeswalker powers.
Now then, I will be stimulating your memory. Let us find out what powers you have hidden away, shall we?
You may choose 6 powers from this section. Portal. Instead of jumping between worlds, you can now choose to open a stable portal between worlds. The portal can be maintained for as long as you want. The portal is big enough to drive a truck through and allows for much larger scale travel between worlds. You can have up to 3 portals open at a time. Mastery. Ordinarily, you would only be able to jump between worlds once per year, but now, the cooldown on your ability to jump has been reduced. You can now jump between worlds once per week. Additionally, when you wish to jump to a world that you have jumped to before, there is no longer any chance of random failure. Improved biology. You can get by with only 2 hours of sleep per day and can easily go up to a week without sleep in the short term. You only need 500 calories per day to sustain your body. Your body produces no waste. Excess calories, fecal matter, and urine are simply eliminated. Your Pact companion shares in all these benefits. Resistance. You can comfortably endure temperatures between -50°C and 200°C. Your Pact companion shares in this benefit. Language. You instantly know any spoken or written language that you encounter. Your Pact companion shares in this ability. Tracking. You can sense the direction of the nearest sentient lifeform on the world you are on. With experience, you'll be able to focus this ability and track specific kinds of lifeforms and energy signatures. For example, you could search by race to find the nearest elf. You could search for magical energy to find the nearest magic user, or search for other planeswalkers. Luck. Your random jumps are not as random anymore. When you randomly jump to a new world, you are 100 times as likely as before to end up on a world that you consider desirable. It may still take you a very long time to find the very best worlds, but this will cut down on the wait. Novelty. Repeating the same kinds of activities may eventually become boring. With this ability, boredom will still happen in the short term, but long term, boredom will never set in. If you abstain from an activity that has begun to bore you, that activity will rapidly become stimulating again. Your Pact companion shares in these benefits. Immunity. You become immune to all forms of poison and disease. Additionally, you will never have an allergic reaction to anything new that you encounter in your travels. Stasis. When a planeswalker is killed, they may generate a new body for themselves after a few years have passed, but the long wait drives many to choose reincarnation instead. This ability makes the wait much more bearable by putting your mind into stasis until you are able to respawn. When you awaken, a few years will have passed, but it will feel like just a moment to you. Conceal. Planeswalkers give off a special kind of energy that can be detected by those who know what they're looking for. This ability lets you conceal that. It also conceals any magic or psychic energy that you give off. Your Pact companion will also be concealed by this ability. Talented. You become extremely gifted at learning new skills, such as archery or the violin. You could go from being a complete novice to being a master in a tiny fraction of the time it would take a normal person to master the skill. Divine Blessings.
Every Planeswalker has at least one divine blessing that comes from the god that spawned them. A few are gifted with several blessings. It seems you are the latter kind. You must have been favoured at birth. What specific blessings did you receive?
You may choose 4 blessings from this section. Blessing of Magic. Like most Planeswalkers, your body rapidly generates magical energy. When your body is already full of magical energy, it begins to expel excess magical energy. This is extremely wasteful. With this blessing, you can instead choose to transfer excess magical energy to a storage area set aside for you by your god. It takes about a year for this storage area to fill up, unless you have the ancient tome, in which case it only takes a month. When it is filled, you can use the vast amount of energy stored within to do grand feats of magic that would otherwise be impossible. For example, if you were skilled in elemental magic, you could cause hurricanes or major earthquakes. Blessing of Fate. You have the eternal blessing of a god that deals in fate. Once per year, you can call upon that god. They will move you and your Pact companion to a safe location, fully restore your bodies and minds, and fix any other lingering problems that may impede your ability to continue in your travels. If you are in a bad situation, and for some reason you are unable to call upon your god, they will intervene automatically on your behalf. Your god will always intervene if you or your Pact companion are suffering a fate worse than death and reincarnation, even if you've already used your yearly get-out-of-jail-free card. Blessing of Empowerment. Once per day, you can duplicate 3 of your Pact abilities and gift those abilities to a mortal. You can gift a mortal with duplicate abilities from your companion as well, if they have any, but only if your companion agrees to help. There is no limit to the amount of people you can gift with powers, but they can never have more than 3 duplicate abilities from you and your Pact companion. Once per day, you can bless a mortal with biological immortality. You cannot gift yourself or your Pact companion with extra abilities. You cannot gift other people with racial abilities. Blessing of Creation. With the Blessing of Creation, you can duplicate up to 100 kilograms of inorganic material per day. You can choose to duplicate entire objects or just specific materials in those objects. You can reshape nearby inorganic material in just a few short minutes. You can also remove impurities from inorganic materials. These powers only work on non-magical items, and all of the items offered in the next page have some kind of magical enchantment. Blessing of the Old Ones. You have the protection of the Old Ones. The minds of you and your Pact companion are protected from all unwanted mind-influencing abilities. If anybody attempts to read the minds of you or your companion, they will fail and suffer extreme pain. You can freely shapeshift into any human form. You can even take on inhuman features, but your shifted form cannot exceed twice that of your base weight. Blessing of Foresight. You have a danger sense that will warn you a few seconds before danger strikes. Once per month, you can petition your god for a vision. When petitioned, your god will grant you a vision that will forewarn you of some future danger or help you in your journey somehow. Blessing of Duplication. You have the ability to create up to 12 copies of yourself. These clones are mortal, with a lifespan of just 24 hours. They share access to your Planeswalker abilities and divine blessings, but have none of your other abilities. They also share in all of your restrictions, so you can't have them create more clones to surpass the limit of 12 clones, or have them make 1,200 kilograms of material in a single day with the blessing of creation. If you have an inhuman body, they may share in your appearance, but they lack any racial abilities from the form. You can absorb any clones that you have made. When a clone is killed or absorbed by you, its mind will merge with yours, and you will instantly experience the entirety of their short lives. Blessing of Judgment. Your god has empowered you to bring judgment upon your enemies. You can spawn and direct hordes of pests like locusts, rats, and lice. You can also create sentient viruses that are able to spread like any real virus. You can customize the lethality of your virus, giving them any symptoms that a real virus may have. Your sentient virus can be selective and target very specific populations. You can turn rivers and small lakes red like blood, cause artificial eclipses over a localized area, and kill all plant life within 1 kilometer of your location. Once per year, you may petition your god to turn a single city up to 10,000 square kilometers in size to salt. Blessing of Fellowship. You have the ability to access a multiversal hub, which serves as a popular meeting spot for planeswalkers, immortals, and other empowered entities. Here you may hitch a ride to other worlds, make immortal friends, and rapidly acquire knowledge from others. Soulbound items.
It is possible to bind items to your soul, which lets you summon and unsummon those items whenever you want. If a soulbound item is damaged, compromised, or destroyed, you can just unsummon that item, and within a single day it will be restored to the state it was in when it was first bound to your soul. In my travels I have come across many magical items. In fact, I have too many of them. If you want, I would be willing to bind a few magical items to your soul. All of the items that I am offering are self-powering, so you will not need to worry about finding a power source for them. Your soul has a finite amount of space, so you can't take all of them, but you can at least have a few of them.
You may choose 5 items from this selection. You cannot pick more than one of the same item. AI Chip. This highly advanced AI chip is meant to interface with the brain of a person. When held against the skin, it liquefies and enters the bloodstream. From there, it migrates to the brain and coalesces. After it bonds with you, it can record and store information and display that information in any visual or auditory forms that you request. It has wireless functions and can hack into almost anything that can be hacked. Its storage space is measured in gigabytes. The AI will never turn against you. Planar Ring. This magical ring acts as a key to a pocket plane. Activating the ring will open a portal to the plane. The entire plane consists of an indestructible self-maintaining Victorian mansion with hundreds of rooms. As the master of the plane, you can expel unwanted visitors and objects at will. You can change the outside scenery, weather, and temperature, but you cannot go outside. The front door will take you to the nearest safe location to your point of entry. Flying Carpet. This magic carpet can fly as fast as a passenger jet. It is enchanted to shield you from the force of the wind. It also protects you from the effects of inertia, allowing it to go from full speed to a complete stop in an instant without throwing you off. Food Replicator. A small device about the size of a microwave. It can read your memory and create any kind of food or beverage that you've had before in under a minute. it cannot replicate anything other than food or drink. Lifestone. When this magic stone is placed in a small body of water, it purifies and enchants that body of water. Merely stepping into the enchanted waters will remove all dirt and filth from the body. Those who remain in the waters for a few minutes will feel energized and refreshed. Mortals who bathe in the magic waters will become a week younger for every minute they stay in the spring. Drinking the water has a different effect. Instead of making people younger, it cleanses the body of disease. Practice Arena. This magic lamp used to house a genie. The genie was forced to grant wishes for an unreasonable amount of time. The magic of the lamp would heal and restore the body of the genie whenever they tried to kill themselves to end their torment. With time, the genie was freed, but the magic within the lamp remained. When it was discovered that people could enter and leave the small world inside the lamp, its new owner decided to convert it into an arena. Warriors would enter the lamp and fight to the death to gain real battle experience without the risk. Omni-Generator. A universal power source that can be used to power anything from arcane golems to electrical appliances. Any electrical devices that are within 100 meters of the crystal will be fully powered. The crystal never runs out of energy. Personal force field. With the press of a button, this device can deploy a personal force field around you. This shield can withstand the total energy of a point-blank grenade before it fails. Cumulative smaller attacks will eventually cause the shield to collapse. When it collapses, it takes about 30 seconds for the device to generate a new shield. The shield can rapidly be turned off and on. While it is off, the shield quickly regenerates its strength. Morphing Belt. This magic belt can morph into any kind of clothing or outfit. No matter how thin the clothing may appear to be, it still provides protection equal to that of a bulletproof vest. Astral Bed. Anybody who rests in this bed will be able to fall asleep in an instant and have amazing lucid dreams. If multiple people sleep in the bed, they will have a shared lucid dream. These dreams aren't always pleasant at first, but with time, you will have the ability to control them. You don't have to have lucid dreams if you don't want them. Book of Stories. This magic book has nothing written inside until you request a story. You can be as specific as you want with your request, and it will generate completely original content that meets your stated criteria. It can scan nearby people and predict how they would act with great accuracy, which allows it to write real people into its stories if requested. You can request a story in text, with pictures, or in manga form. You can request new stories as often as you'd like. Summoning Circle. This enchanted summoning circle is engraved into a thin metallic plate. If you place a strand of somebody's hair in the middle of the circle and channel magical energy into it, the circle will summon whoever that hair belongs to. This will not work if the target you are summoning is in a different world. It also does not work on those who are immune to magic. Pact Companion.
When I read your mind, I discovered something surprising. It turns out you made a pact with a powerful entity in one of your previous lives. That pact has no expiration date. Having awakened as a Planeswalker, you should be able to call forth that which you made your pact with.
Something lurks inside your soul. When you turn your conscious focus inward, what do you see? You may choose a single pact from this section. Note: if destroyed or injured, your companion will be fully restored within 24 hours, unless otherwise stated. Your Pact companion shares in any immunities you have. All companions except for the Eldritch parasite have a human form. Their human form enjoys peak human strength, speed, and endurance for their apparent age and body type. You can summon your companion to your position whenever you want. If you die, your companion will go into stasis until you return to life and summon them again. Cursed Berserker Sword. Visions of battle and death fill your awareness as two armies collide. At the forefront of one of the armies stands a warrior, their sword coated with the blood of numerous foes. With every swing of the warrior's sword, another one of their enemies falls to the ground. You watch through the eyes of the warrior as they carve their way through the battlefield until at last they strike down an enemy commander. With the death of their commander, the enemy forces begin to scatter and retreat. The other army pursues them and begins to cut them down as they flee. When the vision ends, you find yourself gripping the hilt of the sword that the warrior was using. A feeling of power rushes through your body. The sword feels surprisingly light in your hands, like a feather. Your companion is a cursed object that was born from battle. As such, they have a strong desire for battle, which they now share with you. This desire for battle will never be so strong that you cannot resist it, but starting fights will seem very tempting at times. The desire can temporarily be sated through any kind of fighting, but weak opponents and non-risky battles will be less satisfying. Fighting a novice in a serious sparring match may only satisfy your companion for a day. Taking part in a life or death battle may satisfy them for months. You share a telepathic bond with your companion that allows for instant communication. Your companion can freely shift between a human form and a sword form. When your companion takes on their sword form, they are indestructible. The same is not true of their human form. If your companion is killed in their human form, they will be forced back into their sword form and will not be able to communicate with you for an entire day before they recover. Your Pact powers come from your link with your sword. If your companion takes on their human form, or if you are more than 100 meters from your cursed sword, you will temporarily lose access to your Pact abilities. You gain 12 Pact points to use on Pact abilities. You must spend at least 6 of those Pact points on superpowers. The remaining 6 can be spent on magic affinities, psychic abilities, or more superpowers. Ancient Tome. A robed mage enters a vast library with shelves extending as far as you can see. Countless books lay stretched out before the mage. None of the books seem to stand out, except for one book with a golden cover. The mage approaches the book, but something causes them to turn away. A trap, they mutter to themselves. Their attention shifts to another book, one that looks very plain by comparison. In spite of its appearance, you can somehow tell that it's not ordinary. With trembling hands, the robed mage reaches out to grasp the book. When they take the book from the shelf, the world around them dissolves in brilliant light. The vision ends and you find yourself back in the room. The tome that the mage took now hovers in place in front of you for a moment before dissolving into light. The light seems to reach out to you, flowing into your body and filling you with raw magical power. Your companion continuously gives off an enormous amount of magical power. To those who can sense magical energy, this is something like a beacon in the sky that can be seen from dozens of kilometers away. To opportunistic predators, it's like a dinner bell. Your companion will certainly attract unwanted attention. If you have the conceal ability, it will mask most of their magical energy, but not all of it. You will appear to be nothing more than the magician of average power. You may still stand out if you are in a world without magic. Your companion has fused with your soul, but they still retain a kind of individuality and can speak through magical means by manipulating sound waves. They can magically create a human body for themselves to control if they want to physically interact with the world. If their human form is killed, it will take them a week to create a new body for themselves. You gain 12 Pact points to use on Pact abilities. You must spend at least 6 of those Pact points on magical affinities. The remaining 6 can be spent on superpowers, psychic abilities, or more magic affinities. Eldritch Parasite. You find yourself in a dark void. You see nothing, but the feeling of acceleration on your body lets you know that you are not stationary. You are moving towards something, and that fact fills you with a feeling of dread. You want to enter the vision before you remember whatever resides in that darkness, but it's too late to turn back. You catch a glimpse of the entity in the void for but a moment, and that is enough to put you into a deep trance. When the vision ends, you find a grotesque worm-like creature on the floor by your feet. For some reason, the idea of placing the creature inside your ear seems like a really good one. When you do so, the creature begins to burrow through your ear. Intense pain snaps you out of the trance that you have been put under. You try in vain to pry the creature out, but it's in too deep. Blood begins to ooze out of your ear. A telepathic message echoes through your mind. Know that I exist to serve you, Master. Your happiness is my happiness. The pain intensifies and you black out. When you wake up, you find the pain is gone. Most Eldritch parasites take over the nervous system of their host, but the one you have bonded with is different. It was created by the horrors that live in the outer fringes of the Omniverse for the purpose of gifting their champions with psionic abilities. Your companion resides in your brain and has no true human form, but they can tweak your brain to make you perceive the presence of a human in the area. From your perspective, this will feel like much more than a cheap illusion. Your Pact companion will control your senses and muscles to maintain the feeling of realness. For example, if you attempt to reach through their illusionary body, they may use their control over your brain to bring your arm to a halt, while at the same time giving you the sensation that your arm is pressing against their body. Your companion is able to telepathically speak not only to you, but also to nearby people, but you are the only one who will be able to perceive their illusionary body. You gain 12 Pact points to use on Pact abilities. You must spend at least 6 of those Pact points on psychic abilities. The remaining 6 can be spent on superpowers, magic affinities, or more psychic abilities. Prism of Creation. You find yourself standing on the surface of an ocean that stretches as far as you can see. Somehow, in defiance of physics, you do not sink. The water perfectly reflects the starry nighttime sky, but as you gaze into it, the reflected image begins to shift and change. A voice speaks to you. This place exists only in your own mind. It's a sea of possibility. The voice pauses for a moment before speaking again. What is your heart's desire? When you open your eyes, you see a brilliant glowing prism hovering in front of you. In the next instant, the prism shoots forward like a bullet into your chest. You can feel its impact, but it causes no pain and leaves no visible wound. The Prism of Creation has no personality of its own. Instead, it merges with your mind and uses that link to generate and maintain companions for you. You can now wield this power to create your own companions. You can create multiple companions as long as you spend at least 2 Pact points on each of them. You can freely summon and unsummon any of your companions. Should any of your companions die, the Prism of Creation will resurrect them within 24 hours. The Prism allows you to empower your companions by spending your own Pact points on your companions so that you may purchase abilities for them. Unlike the other Pacts, most of the power offered by the Prism goes to your companions instead of you, and those companions are under no contractual obligation to use those powers for you. They have free will. you gain 18 Pact points to use on Pact abilities. You must spend at least 12 of those Pact points on your companions. Only the remaining 6 can be spent on superpowers, magical affinities, or psychic abilities for yourself. Companion customization. Your companions waste no time in taking on a human form and introducing themselves. The body type and apparent age of your companions are whatever you want, but what about their personality and general traits? You may choose up to 12 general traits for each companion. You decide the degree of any chosen traits. For example, if you picked the emotional trait, you could choose to make your companions slightly more emotional, or you could choose to make them extremely emotional. Energetic. Your companion always seems to be filled with energy. Mature. Your companion has a mature personality. They may be motherly or like an older sibling. Social butterfly. Your companion is quick to initiate conversation with new people and tends to be the life of the party. Shy. Your companion gets flustered easily and does not often initiate conversation with new people. Masculine. Your companion may be a tomboy or a manly man. Feminine. Your companion may behave in a ladylike manner and/or likes feminine clothing and things. Intelligent. Your companion has above average intelligence and a drive to learn new things. Emotional. Your companion may be emotional in general, or they may tend to favor a single emotion like anger or sadness. Matching libido. Your companion's libido matches your own, and they are compatible with your fetishes, if you have any. Shared interests. Your companion enjoys one or more of your hobbies or interests. Comedian. Your companion has a great sense of humor and may enjoy playing pranks on people. Ideology. Your companion strongly agrees with your political views. Dominant. Your companion has a very dominant personality. They prefer to give orders rather than take them. Submissive. Your companion has a very submissive and/or obedient personality. Confident. Your companion is confident and cool under pressure. Fearful. Your companion either scares easily in general or is afraid of something specific. Adventurous. Your companion likes to travel, explore new places, and do new things. Comfy. Your companion likes indoor activities, or they could just like to cuddle and relax. Innocent. Your companion naturally behaves in a sweet and innocent manner. Yandere. Your companion loves you a bit too much. They may stalk you, do crazy and creepy things, and/or do harm to people. Nobility. Your companion has an air of nobility about them. They may be idealistic, demanding, spoiled, valiant, etc. Friendly. Your companion is sociable, kind, and nice to be around in general. Sadist. Your companion enjoys causing emotional and/or physical pain to others. Masochist. Your companion likes to receive emotional and/or physical abuse. Loyal. Your companion is extremely loyal to you and would never think of betraying you. Sundry. Your companion loves you, but pretends not to. Breaking through this false front could be challenging. Aesthetic. Your companion is beautiful and may have a unique style to them that you find aesthetically pleasing. Loving. Your companion could be in love with you, or they may just have a loving and affectionate personality in general. Tease. Your companion enjoys teasing others, and may be a bully. Quirky. Your companion has one or more quirks, such as stuttering, nose tickling, or kleptomania. Pact abilities.
You should review the details of your pact with your companions. When you're finished, we can discuss racial transformations.
Each pact ability costs 1 pact point to purchase for yourself. If you have the Prism of Creation, you may purchase abilities for your companions as well. All passive abilities can be toggled on and off. You can use your own mind-influencing abilities on yourself. Enchanted Body. Superpower. Your strength increases by a factor of 20. The durability of your body is enhanced to compensate for your newfound power. Bullets will leave nasty bruises on your body and may cause superficial wounds, but they will not be able to penetrate deeply. Enhanced Speed. Superpower. Your speed increases by a factor of 10. While this ability is toggled on, everything around you will appear to move 10 times slower. The structures of your body have been permanently enhanced to allow for faster movements without tearing your muscles to shreds. Enhanced Mind. Superpower. Your intelligence and memory are greatly enhanced. Your powerful mind is immune to mental attacks and unwanted mind-influencing effects. Enhanced Senses. Superpower. Your sense of taste, touch, smell, sound, and sight are greatly enhanced. You have perfect night vision. You can directly perceive magic and see through magical illusions. Enhanced Stamina. Superpower. Your physical stamina seems limitless. You will still eventually need to rest when mental fatigue builds up, but your body will always be ready for action. Magic Immunity. Superpower. You are immune to all unwanted magical energies. These natural anti-magic capabilities extend up to a meter from your body. Regeneration. Superpower. Your natural regeneration is greatly enhanced. You are now able to regrow internal organs and entire limbs in just a few minutes. Smaller wounds heal in seconds. Any unwanted foreign objects that are inside your body, like bullets, will be forced out as your body regenerates. Flight. Superpower. You can fly twice as fast as you can run. You can effortlessly float around and hover in the air. Intangible. Superpower. Your body is able to enter an altered state, which lets you phase through solid matter. While in this altered state, physical attacks will not harm you, but magical attacks will be devastating. Any magical resistance you have will not apply to your altered state. Blink. Superpower. You can move from one location to another in an instant, as long as you can see your destination. The range limit is 100 meters. Super Breath. Superpower. You can hold your breath for hours and blow out with enough force to knock people off their feet. Your body is better able to tolerate extreme changes in pressure, allowing you to comfortably dive several times deeper than before. Blast. Superpower. You can shoot small bursts of energy from your hands or eyes. These small bursts of energy hit with the explosive force of a grenade. If you charge up for a few seconds, you can choose a beam that is powerful enough to knock down buildings. Light Magic. Magic Affinity. Having affinity in illusion magic allows you to generate, obfuscate, and redirect light. You can easily illuminate a room, shroud an area in darkness, or make yourself invisible. With practice, you will be able to generate detailed illusions, make large groups of people invisible, and emit blinding flashes of light. Anti-magic. Magic Affinity. You can shoot waves of anti-magic energy out to dispel any nearby magical effects. With practice, you will be able to strip items of their magical enchantments, deactivate golems, create anti-magic barriers, and create small, short-lived dead magic zones. Elemental magic. Magic affinity. At first, you will be able to do small feats of magic, like shoot flames from your hands, but with practice, you will be able to generate flames as hot as the sun. Create raging torrents of water, crush your foes under an avalanche of rock, or conjure powerful tornadoes. Necromancy. Magic affinity. You can create weak but long-lasting minions like skeletal warriors. You can revive dead creatures and have them fight for you for a short while until they decay to the point of unuselessness. With practice, you'll be able to slow the process of decay and maintain powerful revived minions for much longer. If you are a psychic medium, you can command phantoms and earthbound ghosts. Demonology. Magic affinity. This branch of magic deals with the summoning of demons. Lesser demons like hellhounds and imps can be bound against their will and forced to obey you for a short time. To control more powerful demons like succubi, you will first need to barter with them and forge a contract. There are stronger demons that you can attempt to summon, but doing so is extremely risky. Arcanomancy. Magic affinity. As a novice, you can fire a bolt of arcane energy that hits like a high-powered rifle. With practice, you will be able to fire multiple homing bolts at the same time. Arcane energy is used to enchant items. It is also used as a power source for magitech weapons and for magical constructs such as golems. White magic. Magic affinity. You can cure wounds, poison, disease, and replenish lost blood. With practice, you will be able to restore lost limbs and integral organs, repair DNA damage, and remove foreign objects from the body. White magic weakens and repels ghosts and destroys the undead. When focused through the head, white magic can remove mind-influencing effects like mind control. It can also restore lost memories and purge false memories. Probability magic. Magic affinity. You can manipulate probability. Manipulating probability in favor of somebody is considered a blessing, or the opposite is considered a curse. At first, the effects of your probability manipulation will only last for a few hours. With practice, your blessings and curses will become more potent and may last for years. Casting a blessing on a cursed creature or object removes the curse, and vice versa. Probability magic ignores magic resistance. Space magic. Magic affinity. As a novice, you will be able to create a human-sized portal to any location that you can see. With practice, you'll be able to open a portal large enough for a jumbo jet to pass through to any location on your current world, so long as you are able to clearly visualize the destination in your mind. You are restricted to a single portal, but you can effortlessly maintain that portal for as long as you want. Gravity magic. Magic affinity. As a novice, you will be able to double the weight of a nearby object or make it weightless. With practice, you'll be able to crush buildings and groups of people under their own weight and apply artificial gravity in any direction you want. Protection magic. Magic affinity. You can generate a small, nearly skin-tight barrier around yourself that is strong enough to withstand shots from an anti-material rifle. This barrier recycles and generates fresh air at a comfortable temperature for you. With practice, you'll be able to expand your protective barrier to cover an entire group or maintain separate personal barriers for your allies. Contract magic. Magic affinity. You can forge magically binding contracts. The consequence for breaking the contract can be anything that is within your power. For example, if you have elemental magic, your contract could cause somebody to spontaneously combust. For contract magic to take effect, both parties must understand the terms of the contract and agree to those terms of their own free will. You are limited to 1 contract per person. Contract magic cannot be dispelled. Mind reading. Psychic. You can read the surface thoughts of people. Simply focus on reading the mind of anybody in your sight range and you will be able to know what they are thinking. Mind control. Psychic. If you focus on a person within your sight range, you can take control of their mind and force them to obey your commands. You can make it so they know they are being controlled, or make them believe they are acting in accordance with their own will. The effects of mind control last for 24 hours. Manipulate memory. Psychic. If you physically touch the head of somebody, you are able to read their memories. While reading their memories, you can remove unwanted memories. If you want, you can fabricate entirely new memories for them. They will accept these memories as their own, as long as there is no obvious contradiction between the fabricated memory and their own remaining memories. Manipulate mind. Psychic. You can control the senses and feelings of anybody in your sight range. You can make people experience feelings like anger, sadness, sexual arousal, fatigue, or love. You can mess with the senses of people to do things like temporarily block their sense of sight in a fight, or flood their awareness with pain or pleasure. You can even lock people in a complex hallucination that involves all of their senses. Telekinesis. Psychic. You can move objects with your mind, up to a maximum range of 20 meters. You can generate enough power to pick up a bus. With practice, you will be able to focus and restrict that power to the point where you can gently pick up an egg without cracking it. Psychic link. Psychic. You can forge a psychic link with other people. If you want, you can telepathically send messages to any linked person, regardless of the distance between you. You can also view the world through their eyes, experiencing everything they do. If you forge multiple psychic links, you can switch between multiple perspectives as easily as switching between channels on a TV. Psychic medium. Psychic. You are able to perceive and communicate with ghosts. You have the power to banish earthbound ghosts and send them to the afterlife. Astral projection. Psychic. You can leave your body and fly around as a disembodied spirit. As a disembodied spirit, you can possess people and use their bodies. You can also enter the dreams of sleeping people and manipulate those dreams. While you are astral projecting, your body will enter a deep state of sleep. Retrocognition. Psychic. In places with a lot of positive or negative energy, you will be able to see visions of important events that happened in the past. For example, if you were to visit a battlefield where a lot of people died, you may be able to see a vision of the historic battle. Remote viewing. Psychic. You are able to enter an altered state of mind that lets you view distant places. This is similar to astral projection, but it does not require your body to be put into a coma-like state, so you can take other actions while viewing the scene. For example, you could view a distant place while using space magic to open a portal to that place. Parallel processing. Psychic. You can temporarily enter a heightened state of mind that allows for parallel processing. This lets you effortlessly multitask. While in this state, you can use up to 4 psychic abilities at the same time. Ghost. Psychic. In general, people will tend to overlook you and your allies, even if you take inappropriate action. There are a few exceptions. People who have a higher degree of psychic awareness may take notice of what you are doing. People who are immune to mind-influencing effects will always be able to take notice of you. Race.
Your body may be powerful and immortal, but its base is still that of a human. I can change that, if you want, by redirecting some of the power you got from your Pact companions to the maintenance of a new form.
All options cost 2 Pact points to purchase, except for human, which is free. If you have the Prism of Creation, you can change the race of your companions as well by spending 2 Pact points on them. You can only pick one race per person. Human. Humans are by far the most common race across the multiverse. They have no special racial abilities. Elf. You have long pointy ears. Unwanted insects and pests will go out of their way to avoid bothering you. You are able to wordlessly communicate with most animals, and wild animals tend to be friendly to you. You intuitively know the harmful and beneficial properties of plants. You gain a form of nature magic that lets you speed up the growth of plant life. You can make a small plant grow in minutes. A large tree would require hours. Dragon Newt. You have a powerful tail, horns, scales, and wings. Your scales are bulletproof and cover as much of your body as you want. You have a fiery breath attack. You can transform into a real dragon for up to an hour per day. You do not have access to any of your superpowers while in your dragon form, and you can fly in your dragon form. Succubus or Incubus. You have horns, large bat wings, and a tail. Your libido and capacity to experience sexual pleasure is greatly enhanced. You gain access to sex magic, which lets you control the pleasure, sensitivity, and arousal of yourself and others. You passively emit pheromones that cause sexual arousal. You no longer gain sustenance from normal food. Instead, you must engage in sexual acts to sate your hunger. Undead. You lose all of your fleshy bits. As a skeleton, you are naturally immune to poison, disease, allergies, and other weakness of the flesh. You require no sustenance or sleep. Your skeletal body has a dull sense of touch. It can also hear and see, but it comes with no other senses. True Vampire. You have fangs. You may also have short pointy ears, bat wings, and or claws. You have perfect night vision. You get the enhanced strength, enhanced speed, regeneration, and flight superpowers for free. These powers are halved in the presence of direct sunlight. 20 times strength becomes 10 times strength. You can no longer eat normal food. You gain sustenance from drinking blood. Angel. You have a halo and long feathery wings. The halo can be made invisible and intangible. Magic circuits on your wings allow for flight. You gain angelic magic, which can do everything that white magic can do and more, letting you fix congenital problems and even resurrect the freshly dead. Once per year you may petition your god to bring a dead person who has already crossed into the afterlife back to life. If that person agrees to return, a new body will be generated for them. Lovecraftian entity. You may have purple skin, tentacles, additional mouths, and or additional eyes. You must have at least 2 of these features. You gain a permanent form of mind control. It lasts until you or your Frau die, or until the mind of your Frau is magically healed.
This is a relatively young world. It is full of life, but it lacks intelligent life. I come here on occasion to relax and escape the burdens of my position, but I will not be staying for much longer, and I will not be taking you with me when I go. You can remain in this world if you want, but you will be left alone on a world that is devoid of intelligent life. It will be some time until you are able to jump again for your own power, and you would probably prefer a world that is a bit livelier than this one, wouldn't you? I have compiled a list of worlds for you to look over. If you want to jump to one of them, I would be happy to open a portal for you. Access to desirable worlds is traded like currency between Planeswalkers, so you can consider this a special service. There are utopian worlds that would allow you to quickly ascend in power, but you will not find them on my list. To gain access to the really good stuff, you will need to trade something of equal value.
Second jump.
Notes that, as a Planeswalker, you can jump to any world that you've jumped to before, but you have never actually jumped to Earth before. You jumped away from Earth. That is why I included your home world in my list. If you want to return to Earth in a timely manner, you will want to take my portal there. Otherwise, it could be a very long time before you manage to find the Earth again on your own.
You may choose one world to jump to. Kanglen. Strange, phantom-like creatures emerge at night. As creepy as these phantoms are, they tend to keep to themselves unless they are antagonized. Most people follow an unspoken rule not to talk about the phantoms, as those who seriously look into them tend to disappear. The phantoms are somehow able to sense the presence of machines that run on electricity. In the presence of such machines, they become incredibly hostile, destroying the machine and killing any people nearby. For this reason, building such machines is forbidden. With electricity out of the reach of people, society developed into a very different way, giving rise to great clockwork civilizations. Automatons walk the streets, and airships are the most popular means of travel. Magic societies exist, but most are secretive and generally not well trusted by the people. In spite of this general distrust, they still wield great political power due to their role in creating enduring clockwork engines. Tybos. Tybos contains most of the common races found in fantasy novels. Humans, elves, dwarves, dragons, and beastmen all live on Tybos, each with their own lands and unique way of life. Orcs, goblins, vampires, and many others call Tybos their home as well, but they have no lands of their own and have been branded as enemies of the world. These enemies live in the lands of others and often conflict with resident populations. Tybos operates under a game-like system that was put in place by a higher power. That system automatically assigns magic affinities and/or special abilities to people on their 12th birthday. Technologically, most of Tybos is on par with medieval Europe. Civilization is heavily dependent on drops from naturally occurring dungeons. Valuable materials, magic items, and even food spawns inside dungeons. The respawning monsters that fill these dungeons become more powerful at lower levels. The farthest any of the residents of the world have gone into a dungeon is the 29th level, but there are 100 levels to each dungeon. Gonov. Gonov is several generations ahead of Earth in terms of technology. The majority of human jobs have been replaced by AI. As this replacement took place, a system of universal income was implemented to prevent widespread riots. Many are happy with their work-free lives, but there are some who are concerned with the fact that the majority of humanity has become dependent on handouts from the ruling class. The ones who control the AI are now backed by robotic militaries, and could, in theory, turn off the income of anybody who opposed them. The amount of income that is given to the jobless does not provide much beyond the necessities of survival, but advancement in virtual reality technology has allowed the people to cheaply live out their fantasies in artificial worlds, both single and multiplayer. This virtual reality technology is capable of stimulating sensations in the brain, and its simulations are nearly indistinguishable from reality. Earth. Secretive organizations that specialize in dealing with abnormal entities are able to detect and track people like yourself. Rare individuals who have the potential to wield great power are seen as a threat to humanity and are targeted for execution before they have the chance to awaken those powers. Weapons like guns are sometimes used for this purpose, but they are not the first choice as they come with the added hassle of having to escape the scene or deal with the police somehow. The use of trucks allows the agent to take their time and verify that their target is truly dead while they pretend to feel around for a pulse. This is necessary as some of the abnormal entities that deal with have different biology with different kinds of life signs. When the police eventually arrive, the agent frames the whole event as an accident. If you choose to return to Earth, you are sure to be detected and targeted again, unless you have the ability to conceal your presence. Ethos. An irresponsible planeswalker passed through this world and frivolously gifted a dozen people with immortality and magic abilities. Now those people are masquerading as gods. They reign over several great civilizations that are culturally and technologically somewhere between ancient Greece and ancient Rome. Arenas exist in large cities and victorious gladiators are treated like heroes. Science, reason, and philosophy are just starting to emerge. Centaurs, minotaurs, and harpies are known to exist in the wilderness. Legendary creatures like the Hydra are less well known, but do exist in small numbers. The gods are not unified and have chosen to support different countries and groups. Examples include Spartan-like warrior societies, powerful merchant alliances, and tribes of Amazonian women. The personalities of the gods are rotten, and their pettiness has resulted in several unnecessary wars. Thulara. When two worlds are close enough dimensionally, a natural rift may open between them. Every now and then, Thulara happens to align just right to allow for travel to and from Earth. Many mysterious disappearances on Earth are a result of people being spirited away to Thulara. This is a two-way street. Sometimes unwanted entities from Thulara cross over to Earth and must be dealt with swiftly. Thulara is a harsh and unforgiving world. Dinosaurs and other great beasts roam the plains. Giant man-eating insects exist. Hostile lizardmen attack and enslave any humanoid creatures they find. Supernatural and magical entities exist in Thulara and are the source of most magical creatures in our folklore. Humanity barely has any presence in the world. The few humans that do call this place home struggle to survive in primitive tribes. There are signs of travelers from Earth, but it is unknown if any of them are still alive. There exists a way back to Earth, but it will not be easy to find. Reverend. Reverend used to be a lot like Earth, until the meteor shower struck. The meteors themselves were small and not very destructive, but strange things began to happen afterwards. For the majority of people, there were no immediate changes, but a few people began to develop powers. It is still unknown why some people reacted to the meteor shower, but others did not. People who used their powers to prey on others were called villains. Those who used their powers to help others and oppose villains were called heroes. Those who used their powers for political reasons were called both, depending on who you asked. Shortly thereafter, monsters began to spawn throughout the world. Organizations of superpowered people were formed to assist the military in dealing with these monsters and in bringing villains to justice. These battles continue on a daily basis. Wonderland. Cultists completed a ritual and summoned something that should never have been allowed into their world. After that, the laws of physics began to warp in ways that made no sense. People could go to sleep in their beds, only to wake up in an entirely different place with strange rules and regularities. Bizarre as these places are, the majority of them are not overly dangerous. Most are hospitable and even a little fun. Some people even look forward to figuring out the next random place they will be transferred to. There are a few nightmare-themed places that house malevolent entities, but even these places adhere to certain rules. For example, if you find yourself in the room of a strange hotel with endless halls, you are permitted to walk the halls and talk to other people while the sun is up, but when the sun goes down, you must return to your room or risk being attacked by fiends. Clues and fair warning are always given priority to such a penalty.
Farewell for now, young Planeswalker. I'm sure we'll meet again sometime.
Leave a comment with your choices and tell us of your adventures. Maybe one day you'll even meet me.